Hi everyone, how are you? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I was 1 minute late because the internet wasn't connecting, so I had to look for another connection. Well, uh, I hope that you feel okay because of after this eclipse, and I hope that the explanation from before from this afternoon was useful for you to be connected, to align during during the eclipse. I won't ask how do you feel because we are gonna be like 3,000 people, so it's gonna be difficult. Uh, but I hope it went well. So if you ask how it was for me, I think you can tell by my face that it was really hard. Really, it was really intense. I cannot really share right now what happened because there's a lot of things that I need to process by myself, to be quiet, and there are very personal things for myself. So I was able to receive the message, to receive everything that I was not expecting to, but what it was supposed to. And I will just say that, as you see in my face, I cried as I didn't cry in many time. I don't know, many years. And I cried so much that I was in the sarcophagus and in the darkness, and when I woke up, it was all wet, like all like all water in the sarcophagus. So it was really great. I really experienced die. So it was good, I should say. I would say that I feel with much more responsibility, but also I lost a really big weight that I had. So I'm really much more relieved. And of course, that there was a moment that I was like feeling this expansion, and I was able to feel, to listen, to feel mainly the energy of all those who were connected to the network in that moment. So you, and so thank you very much for being part and being connected. For the people that were asking, yes, I received my message from the future, but I will just take a while for myself to process and to understand it and to accept it within me, before I would say anything. So, talking about future, today's topic is future, and I will try to be very precise because I am not with the energy or the mood to explain a lot today. You may understand. So that's it. So talking about future. Talking about future is something, the perception that we have from what is future is that is one of the times in which we divide the eternity. we divide the eternity into past, present, and future, but that's from the point of view of our third dimension. So the reason why we divide eternity in three is because of our point of view of the third dimension. Remember that the third dimension is called like this because it has three dimensions, which is height, depth, and weight. So these three dimensions for us is our reality. So when we try to look into the time, we project that in those three visions. So that's why we divide the eternity into three, which is past, present, and future. So for other dimensions, this doesn't work like this. For every dimension, time would be adapted according to that dimension. So talking about these perceptions of the time of the universe, in the eternity through dimensions, we have to remember that when we spoke about the origin of the universe, we say that the core of the universe is the void, and this void from the inside projects into the outside. So when it goes into the outside, it projects in the universe, which is all the potentialities that the universe had within. So in the beginning of the universe, this means that there's nothing, that really doesn't exist, anything, that is only void and just projections. So this means that the only thing that exists in the very beginning of the universe is the potentiality of the universe. So from the point of view of the origin of the universe, the first time is the future, the second time is the past, and the third one is the present, which is the comprehension of the future and the past. So remember this, the reason why the future is the first one is because there's nothing in the universe, only ideas that wants to be projected in the outside. So this is why the first time is the future, because everything is about to exist. So that's why we all are products of the future. And once that we started to make an action to live, to experience these projections of the future, we create the past. So we leave the structure. And then when we become aware of that structure and from where it comes from, we live the present. In some other moment, we will talk about past and present, but now let's just talk about the future. So, the future expands itself, experiences itself in the past, and then when we arrive in the present, we start to go back to the origin of the things. It's like we express and then we go back as an echo again. So that means that once we are in the present, we start to come back to the future. That's why we live looking into the future, because we are going back to the original. So in our perception, future is something that we put ahead and that we are going to, but we don't know what is going to happen. So it's just a projection, an idea. But for some cultures, the future is in front because we are heading to it in that perception. And for other cultures, the future is in the past, is behind because they say, I don't see it. so I don't know what is going to happen. So the complicated part would be that this eternity that we divided in 3, past, present, and future, they're just concepts, because you cannot measure past or future. What is past or future? For example, what I am doing now, this movement, is already in the past. So that's past, or what is past? Is it ancient time, or is just this movement that I just did? And the future, what is the future? Is exactly the next movement that I'm going to do after the past. So basically, everything is past and present and future at the same time, constantly. Now, did you understand that it's impossible to separate time? That when you go into the application of time, it's impossible to separate it, because everything that you are doing constantly is past, present, and future, every second. So we have to remember to understand time, that time is not something that you can divide. That time is only one thing, which is vibration. And the perception of time is according to the frequency of that vibration. So it's only one thing that you perceive through the different vibrations that it has. So once said this, we will recognize that space and time are basically the same. It's just a vibration with different frequencies. This means that everything is referring to itself. It's only one thing. So this is I am. So now we understand the I am as only one frequency and only one vibration with different frequencies. What we have to get now is that future is basically the potentiality of this being, but it's the potentiality of itself. So there's no future without the I am. This means that it doesn't exist a place or a projection that we call future. It doesn't exist that. The only thing that exists is the projection or the potentiality of one being. So basically, all the possible futures will be determined by what I am now. So, what is future? Future comes from the Latin futurus, which is a conjugation of the verb to be, which to be is essere, and it's an irregular verb. So the transformation of to be in the past is fu. That in Spanish we have it also. Fuimos, fueron, we use that, fu. So, and then we have the suffix, the enclitic that you may say urus, which is related to a verb of something that is going to happen. So futurus means that one that is going to become. So the word future is not talking about a concept in the future, it's talking about the inner transformation of a being. And this is why in order to build future, we have to build present. So future is about all the potentialities that you can become. So in between all those potentialities, you can receive the information to become. So this is why there are so many futures possible, so many parallel realities. because the future depends on high vibration. So the reality is that the future depends precisely on how you vibrate, because it's the frequency of your vibration. So I can receive information from the future, from the frequency of the future, but that future won't be something determinant in my life, because what I receive can change my point of view, transform what I am going to do. Okay? So I can change my future in my present. Another day we will speak much more about time, but another day that I am maybe a little bit more human. So let's go to the alignment. The statement for today is, I am the legacy of realities. Today we begin with another sequence of codes, and for today is the color black. Enlightenment is nothing more than the reunion with the profound void. By going back to the source, where all things converge, white and black are one, and no color exists, for they are simple perceptions of the wavelengths of a ray, of a vibration. Thus, black is the sum or density of all realities, when white is the sum of all their vibrations. But both are the set of the whole, of the vibration of the entire cosmos. So let's go to the alignment. So focus in your breathing as you stretch the body to relax. Close my eyes, concentrate in my breathing. Take a deep breath. I find myself in front of the great Sphinx, the lion, and I feel its spirit, like for all the animals. Behind the lion, I see the pyramids, covered in white, shining. Around me, I feel and see a lot of people, and I look at them and recognize that they are waiting for me to give them something, to give them the task, to begin with their path. I get closer to the Sphinx in between its spot, and I see an altar where I find 12 blue crystals. Take a deep breath and take between your hands these 12 crystals, and in between the people I choose 12 of them. No judging, just see their faces even if you don't know them, and give one crystal to each. Take a deep breath. Here begins a new path for a new humanity, creating a new reality in the planetary network. I begin to see the path of these walkers, one going to the Sinai, and I can see the desert, the mountains, another one to Siberia with the forest and the cold, the other one to Hawaii with volcanoes in the ocean, another one in Greenland, feeling the ice. La perdida isla de Micronesia. I see the other 4 walkers going to the warm sands of Brazil in the north, the special volcanic islands of Galapagos, the lost island of Micronesia, and the huge volcano Toba in Sumatra. As you breathe, you see the last walkers arriving to South Africa with its animals, the savannah, to the south of Australia in Tasmania, to the islands of Polynesia, and the south of Patagonia in Tierra del Fuego. And I recognize that these 12 crystals around the world are the ones incarnating the legacy of all the realities of the planet. And I resound. I am the legacy of realities. I am the legacy of all realities. I am the legacy of all realities. For every human has within itself the memory of these walkers. And now I can see it. I see. I see. I am the legacy of my past. I am the legacy of my future. I see. Yo soy el que soy. Yo soy. Take a deep breath. Taking your hands to your heart, uniting these 12 realities in your heart. And softly, I bring all this consciousness to my body here and now. I come back here and now. Thank you everyone for being here and for connect this network. I am who I am. See you tomorrow.